What if a year from now you were 40% happier? And happier people live longer, worry less, have better relationships, make more money, make better life decisions. They even have better sex. And I'm not just making this shit up. According to the happiness pie model, 40% of a person's happiness is due to daily intentional activities, such as the choices you make, the mindsets you have, and the activities you do. In Thrive, you are going to learn, practice, and apply these exact mindsets and activities. Hi, my name is Coach Kira, and welcome to the best fucking year of your life. Welcome to Thrive. It's a brand new positive psychology program with optional live retreats for women over 40 to learn the knowledge, skills, and mindsets to thrive in midlife. Because this time is tough. Over the course of the 9 months of Thrive, you will have a deep and healthy group of soul sisters that see and hear you, including me. You'll build a life that you don't want to escape or numb from. You'll learn skills that make you feel like you control your brain instead of it controlling you. You'll understand how to treat and accept your body as it is now. And you'll build new meaning, purpose, hopes, and dreams for this next chapter, all by learning, applying, and practicing small bite-sized happiness skills and mindsets that are scientifically proven to make you healthier and happier. Our small and intimate community of women over 40 gathers for 2 optional retreats, weekly group community and learning calls, and even joy boxes with mindfulness crafts and all the supplies you need to make this a whole experience stick. I think society has made us believe that we're supposed to be unhappy, that it's part of the gig of aging and life, and it's not. But don't beat yourself up. This is new research that have come out in the last 15 to 20 years. You just haven't learned it. But I know it, and I can teach it to you in Thrive. Payment plans start at $4.99 a month. So if you're searching for a deep community of smart and kind women and a sweary but knowledgeable guide, that's me, and people to support and celebrate you through this weird and tough time, I hope you'll join us. Check out the information at thrivemidlifeprogram.com. Life is weirdly a lot harder than we've been told. And midlife? That's a whole other can of worms that I was completely unprepared for. What about you? But here's the good news. There are so many new skills and mindsets that we can learn to make even the toughest days a little bit better. You just haven't learned them. Welcome to Thrive with Kira, a smart and square podcast for women in midlife that teaches the skills to get more joy and love in your life. Join me weekly as I teach science-based, smarty-farty topics and break them down into bite-sized lessons that you can apply to your life, all while sharing my own shit show life stories that you can learn from. I'll be talking regularly about getting more joy on a daily basis, thriving in midlife, yes, you can, figuring out menopause, healthy dating and relationships, building self-worth, body positivity and neutrality, growth mindset, adult friendships, and also just easy mindfulness. So we can stop just surviving and start learning how to thrive. Welcome to Thrive. Hello there, Sugar Pantses. Happy Sunday, and welcome to Thrive with Kira. It's Kira. Let's fucking thrive. How's everybody doing? In case you've been under a rock for the last couple of months, I have an incredible program starting just in a few weeks. There's still a couple of spots left for midlife women over 40, although if you were late 30s, I'm probably going to get over it. Really focusing on having an incredible year, learning coping skills, how to emotionally regulate, digging into meaning and purpose in this part of life, talking about all the hard things such as aging parents, changing bodies, starting to feel invisible in society, which is like a what the fuck? All of the things that come with midlife, and you're going to do it with myself, as well as a small group of women who are incredible. And for my former OMers who are listening to this, so far it is an OM grad bonanza, extravaganza. So you should join us. I can't even tell you how excited I am about it. I have started putting the joy boxes together. They're the most adorable thing I've ever fucking done in my life. I might do an unboxing at some point just because it's the coolest gifts I've ever given. And I give pretty fucking cool gifts, I'm not gonna lie. I cannot believe the excitement that I have doing this. And I know for a fact, if it's not for you, that I just need a handful of women, 3 or 4 women left, who want to have a great year next year and want to be surrounded by incredible community and want to be able to have access to me and my feedback and my resources and my brain every single fucking day. Every single day. Can you imagine that? What a dream. I'm laughing as I say that because I don't know if that's a dream or not. But I think if you really want to fucking make changes in your life, it's helpful to have somebody who can go, yeah, no, that's not what you want to say. Or that's not what you want to do in that situation. Here's what's going to actually move it forward. Or here's what's going to keep that friendship going. Or here's what's going to keep that relationship with potential. ThriveMidlifeProgram.com. I can't say it enough. I will work with most payment plans. You guys are going to have the time of our lives. Why the fuck not? If you're feeling pretty like low and stressed out, there is no homework you have to do. You can't get behind. We're doing all the shit together. I know it's expensive, but it is a life changer. And my God, I am literally going to dance in unicorn costumes on the reg to entertain these ladies. I am dedicating 9 months to you. Please go check it out. If it's not for you, if you know somebody else who might like it, have them check it out. I only need a couple more people, and I know that there are women who are looking for community right now, who are looking for some sanity, who are looking to feel like they belong somewhere that makes sense. That's what this is. ThriveMidlifeProgram.com. Let's get into the topic today. We're starting to wrap up 2024. It's funny because online in some ways is still so new. Social media in some ways is still so new. But it's hilarious to me that year-end wrap-ups seem to be coming early and earlier every year. I feel like in the beginning of social media and stuff, people are like the last week of the year going, these are the lessons that I learned in 2024, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like October. People are like, let's just wrap this bitch up and get to the new one. I'm there with everybody. But I was sitting here going, I don't want to do some like, here's what I've learned, because that's what I've done this whole entire podcast. But I wanted to think about what's something that has been mildly mind-blowing to me or some people in my life or clients. So I was thinking about what's some of the stuff that I have learned or known that might just move the needle for somebody today, that might just make somebody go, oh, I've never thought about it that way, which is exactly what I'm trying to do on this podcast. I want to get you thinking. I want thought-provoking conversations. I want you to realize that most things aren't black and white, especially when it comes to love and friendships and relationships and people and humans, and that there's a lot of things we can do to make our lives easier that a lot of us don't know about, but that's exactly why I'm here. So I want to talk today about advice, and we can call it opinions, we can call somebody else weighing in, we can call whatever we want to, but most of us, particularly if we're single, we have maybe a handful of people that we talk to about. Maybe your family is driving you crazy, or you've got an issue with a sister or your parent. Maybe it's a coworker thing. We all have usually a handful of people that we might go to for advice. The thing is, not all advice is created equal. It's just not. And I will tell you, I have heard some horrific advice over the years. Things where I'm talking to a client and they're like, well, when I grew up, this is what I was told. And I was like, no, that's not true. We got to unlearn that and replace it, because that's part of learning is unlearning. We have to unlearn the bullshit to fill it back up or build a foundation of truth or real things, and not just beliefs that were handed down by imperfect parents and a very imperfect society. But not all advice is created equal. Some of it is downright backwards and can hurt more than help. I'm dead serious. And I think the worst thing about advice, these quotes that we've heard 1,000 times and start to believe and start to say to other people, is when we use something as such a knee-jerk reaction that we don't even question it, that we don't really think about it. And we can end up really limiting ourselves, really like boxing ourselves in, or projecting that onto other people without even really knowing it. So I want to talk about some of the worst advice that I've gotten today. I want to talk about some of the best advice I've gotten today. And I hope that it relates and how you can get great advice in fucking 2025. I bet you know the answer already because you're really smart. And that's why I love you. The first worst piece of advice I ever got that drives me absolutely insane whenever I hear it on TV, in movies, out of people's mouths is this: if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It absolutely drives me crazy, especially when we use it about love, about relationships with another fucking human, when we talk about things that are really important to us, and we're so passive. We're so like, this is what life is, and life will happen. Here's why this advice, I think, is so unhelpful, if not the worst advice I ever got. It's because it teaches us that life controls us, and it takes away our power to realize that there are many things in life that we can absolutely control. There's a shit ton we can't. There's a shit ton of things that happen every single day all around the world that we have zero control over. But I can guarantee the person that you choose to date or be with, the people that you choose to surround yourself with, the people you choose to give power or control in your life, the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, if they are leading you towards your dreams and your goals, or if they're keeping you on a one-way path to stuck, we have so much more control than we think. And since I know, and as a fellow woman, that many people who listen to this podcast are women, I think that this is double for us. I think that we are still unlearning lots of bullshit about who we were taught we were as women and what we were good at or what we weren't or what we were allowed, all of it. So I think that it's even harder for us because there's all of these things in place that we shouldn't go after that. That's too much, that we shouldn't speak up for ourselves, that we shouldn't maybe ask somebody else, that we shouldn't express what we need, that we shouldn't say no. But let me tell you, at 51 over here, it is a pretty tough existence if you feel like you have virtually little to no control over your life. I can't even tell you what just me having control over the majority, not all, the majority of my thoughts on a daily basis has changed. Fucking everything. But I don't personally think that telling somebody who is devastated, who is hurting, who maybe had something terrible that was out of their control happen to them, if it's meant to be, it will be. What I would say instead, if you reached out to me about a job, about a friendship, about a relationship, about a person you like, whatever it is, and you asked for advice, I can promise you it would never be, if it's meant to be, it would be. Instead, it would be something like this. Do you want this? Is this decision based in love, or is it based in fear? If you go after this, what in your life will change? And if you don't go after this, what will that mean to you? Now, I get that right now you might be like, Kira, those are questions. Those weren't answers. But that's the kind of nuance that you want to take before big decisions, such as going after somebody to date or not, going after a job or leaving. You want to be having more than, if it's meant to be, it will be. So once you're answering those questions, do I actually want this? Then we can give real concrete advice, such as, if you want this, it's based out of love. Let's talk about next steps of how to get there. If you're interested in someone, what's the conversation that you need to have? And then I'll give you a script on how to have it. Then we'll talk out the results of that conversation. We'll be able to take and look at what's the truth in this situation, and what are you maybe making it mean about yourself? When we get stuck, we make a lot of shit black and white. We make it, it's either this or that. And you and I both know that's a whole lot of bullshit. I don't ever want to tell somebody who's devastated after a breakup or a loss or getting fired or making a human mistake and there's results or consequences from it, that if it's meant to be, it'll be. I certainly don't want to tell somebody who could have an incredible relationship with somebody else to not go after it Because if it's meant to be, it will be. Everybody out there is scared. Everybody out there is also nervous about making the wrong decisions. But we're at a place where no decision is just as bad as making the wrong one. As a reminder, here's what we do have control over: our thoughts. And I will tell you this, I can guarantee some of your thoughts, beliefs, and mindsets are not working for you. Our actions, what we do every day, what we say, how we say it, where we put our time, where we put our energy, our reactions. Do we shut down? Do we fight? Do we get the fuck out of there? Are your reactions moving your friendships and relationships forward, or are they pissing everybody else off around you? Your attitude, how we spend our time, the words we choose to speak, our habits and our goals, the effort we put towards our goals, the relationships that we maintain, and how we take care of ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. And here's what we don't realize when we feel like life is happening to us, is that every day we are little self-fulfilling prophecy machines. Those deep down limiting beliefs that are so deep inside of you, that were all created by the age of 7, by the way, in case you guys didn't know that, unless they are cleared, unless they are examined, unless they are noticed, acknowledged, taken out, looked at, and then exchanged or replaced with better beliefs, you will keep making decisions from that place. It's what's happening every time I'm on Instagram and I see, why do I want love so bad? And I keep picking the losers who won't give it to me, or the jerks, or the idiots with like crying faces emojis. Because you're a self-fulfilling prophecy machine. We keep creating the same results and again, until moving into the best piece of advice I ever got, which is nothing changes if nothing changes. We can wrap that up with the whole Albert Einstein, crazy is just trying the same thing every day and expecting different results. Something like that. I know that wasn't perfect. Work with me. We all know what I'm talking about. But I cannot believe how many people are out there dating just still to this day, just thinking it's because they haven't met the right person, instead of mindsets and actions they can do to build their self-worth, to choose better partners, to be able to speak up for themselves, to be able to communicate better, the thousands of things that actually make up a relationship. If you're waiting for somebody to give you that promotion, if you are waiting for somebody to choose you, if you are waiting for just things to happen to you, this life will pass you by, my friend. I can promise you that somewhere in my early 40s, now we've talked about it on this podcast 1,000 times, I'm not going to talk about it again today, but my dad falling ill and then eventually passing away from it was the worst and best moment of my life. It was the worst because it was literally 4 years of emotional, mental, physical hell for myself, my mom, and my sister. It got better. It became just sad. Sorry. I still have feelings about this. But the best thing it did was shake me the fuck up. The best thing it did was go, holy shit, what you thought was a guarantee or your future isn't guaranteed. That if I want something, I better go after it. And I'll tell you this, if you're in the same place that you were a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago in one or more areas of your life, it's not changing, my friend, until you change it. And it doesn't mean you wake up one day and then, have a checklist and then you do that every day and then it slowly changes. You're a superhuman if you can do that. If you could do that by yourself, you probably would have done it by now. And I know that feels a little harsh. I get that. I truly get that. Nobody wants to sit here and go, fuck, am I the one creating this life I have? Am I the problem here? But I will tell you this, 99.9% you have something to do with it. There is somewhere stuck in your actions, your beliefs, your mindsets, the way you speak to other people that might be keeping you from getting the kind of life you actually want. We're not going to dance around it if you work with me. We're going to talk about it. And after it feels like crap for 30 seconds, we're going to figure out solutions. We're going to figure out how to take you from A to B to get you to C. If you want a relationship, I will help you get a relationship. If you want a better job, I will help you get a better job. If you want to find purpose and meaning for this chapter of your life because it's not what you thought it was going to be, then that's what we will do. I was actually with a client this morning, and Voxer, in case you guys don't know, is like a walkie-talkie app. It so makes my 70s, 80s child heart so happy. But basically, it's just an app on your phone. My clients can talk to me or text me thoughts, questions, if they need feedback, things like that. And then it leaves like a little instant voicemail for me. So after I'm done recording today, I can go over and give them feedback, give them answers, get them resources. I just did a pep talk this morning, but that was the roundabout way of telling you that this morning I said to my client, I'm so proud of you because you are getting so sick of your own shit. And that's when growth starts happening. We have to get over our crap. We have to get over the weird coping mechanisms and shame we have about stuff and just start going, okay, I'm going to start working on what is. I'm going to start making the most steps towards things that I actually want and desire in my life. Because nobody's going to do it for me. They're not. I wish they were. I'm so sorry, but they're not. There are reasons why we're doing things every day. There are reasons why we live our lives a certain way. And if it's not working for you, you have to change it. And if you can't change it yourself, and do not feel shitty about that, I can't change shit myself. Nobody I know can change shit by themselves. This is what humans, fellow humans, community is for. But if you want a good and healthy and happy relationship and you don't have it yet, and that's something you do want in your life, it will not change. And it certainly will not change for the better. You're not going to drop into a healthy relationship unless you know how to have one. And I'll be honest, if we are really counting on men in our society to be the ones who know how to have healthy relationships, I think we're a little smarter than that. They know less than we do. Yet I cannot believe the built-in fucking misogyny that we keep thinking that men know more than us. Okay. But I had a beautiful moment not too long ago over Voxer with one of my other clients. And she was having a tough morning and just berating herself for feeling a little stuck or feeling like she'd made progress forward and just had a step back moment, which happens in growth. It's part of the gig. And we were talking about therapy and maybe finding a new therapist that was a better match for what she was looking for. And she's just like, I'm so fucking over this. I'm so fucking over all of this work. I'm so over like finding a therapist and all this shit and la yada. And man, I feel that. But here's what I'm over. Here's what I'm real sad about it. And here's what I said to her that day. I'm really sad that you were raised to believe that you were supposed to do this work alone. I am so sad that you thought this journey was by yourself. I'm so sad that you've been given some weird ass expectations that no matter that life threw a bunch of shit at you, that you were supposed to work through it and figure it out and somehow heal on your own. That's what I'm sorry about more than anything. Shit is going to happen. And shit that's car accidents, things like that. Shit, fires, burning houses down. Things that we cannot prevent. The biggest thing I hate to see for Gen X and up, the boomers, the silent generation, all of them, millennials are getting it. Gen Z are rocking it out. Side note, if you guys haven't watched Thelma, the new movie with Joan Quibb, I think it is. I'm so sorry if I don't remember her name right now because Barry met her. But if you haven't watched it, it's so entertaining. It's on Hulu right now or Disney Plus, I believe. And it's just so fun. But she is a perfect silent generation, which is what my parents were, which is before baby boomers. And it's a real good watch to know why we are the way we are. Moving on to the other piece of worst advice that I ever got was love means never having to say you're sorry. Who heard that? So that was from the movie, what is it? A Love Story. And I feel like people my age or maybe Gen Xers remember that movie. It came out when I think before I was born, but it was certainly around when you grew up. You had to watch old movies because there wasn't that much entertainment being made on a regular basis like there is now. But I think now we can call bullshit on that. In case you guys aren't sure, years ago we said that's the most ridiculous statement ever made, is that love means never having to say you're sorry. No, love means you absolutely say you're sorry and you do it faster. Love means understanding that conflict and mending and repair is very much a part of relationships. Love means understanding that the relationship needs to be healthy for love to be felt on a regular basis. And that includes in friendships, in family, and in every relationship of your life. Now, we could all say that's bullshit, but I never saw my parents fight, or very little. And when they did, it was terrible, right? Like it was either my dad being really angry and yelling. It was just dysfunctional. I didn't know how to talk things through. I didn't know how to bring up when I was uncomfortable with something. I didn't know how to ask for what I needed in a friendship. I thought it was too much. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to do anything because I was taught by our whole entire society that the goal was just to get good and get happy or get in love, and then the rest of it all works out. I don't know anything in life that all works out. I'm going to get to the next best piece of advice I've ever heard, which is going to back that up. I was so unfamiliar with how to have tough or uncomfortable conversations. I was so scared of something being bad and somebody leaving. That's fear of abandonment, by the way, that I accepted crap. I chose people who were terrible for me. Oh God, guys, all the things, right? All of the things. And thought that if there was ever a conflict or something, that just meant it was over, instead of that was just part of it. I know I still hear from people who say, yeah, my parents don't tell me that they love me, or my husband or my wife or whatever, but I know they do. And that's nice. But going back to this is the only fucking life we have. Tell the people you love them. Why are we withholding this shit anymore? Have you met life? Life is hard as fuck. Even when things are going well, all of a sudden somebody gets cancer. All of a sudden somebody loses somebody they care about. Shit happens. This is all we get. If you don't like it, change it. You are worth the time and energy and investment to get healthy. You deserve it. And life isn't going to fix itself, guys. I hope that we know that by now. And here is my final, but the best advice. I heard it just the other day, is this too shall pass. When we are hurting, when we've had a heartbreak, when we've had deep loss and grief, it feels like it'll never end. It feels like this is all there is. And this too shall pass. The moment, if you're really miserable that you're having, won't last forever. Those feelings you're having of heartache won't last forever, especially if you start talking to somebody about them. But also, that great day you had doesn't last forever either. I've loved this saying for years just because it reminds me in those toughest moments that I'll get through it. In fact, I was very heartened, which I don't think is a word, but I know disheartened is. I was heartened to hear that the worst part of perimenopause or menopause does go away. I just thought this was the way it was. And I was like, fuck, this sucks. But good news, ladies. This does last for years, but it does get better. In fact, Michelle Obama was quoted to say, I felt so much better ringing in 60 than I did 50 because of menopause. But the biggest lie is I know all these people trying to retire early. You know what I also know? A ton of people who retired early and then are totally unhappy because they never created a life that they wanted to begin with. They just got through life until they retired. And then they thought like retirement was going to fix it all. And it didn't, because then they were stuck with themselves and their unhealed thoughts. Sometimes people who are retired are 10 times more miserable than those who are working because we've taken away the reason and meaning and purpose a lot of times for our lives. This too shall pass. Good things will pass. Bad things will pass. Everything passes. So stop waiting for life to save you or a person to save you. It's time for you to save yourself. If you have a category or two of your life that is feeling really unsatisfactory or unfulfilled, let's work on it. Let's figure it out, guys. If you don't like your life, change it. I heard from somebody this week who said, I've been following you for like 7 years and I'm still waiting for love. And those messages honestly are a little heartbreaking to me because I know this shit worked because I have a bunch of people who are in healthy relationships now and we've all just delayed that work for years. This is it, my friends. This is life. And if you don't like your life, let me help you make it the life you want, the life you deserve. All right, guys. Was this helpful? I'm going to ask that if you're liking these lately, would you let me know? You don't even have to leave a review, especially since some of you already have, but I'm really needing just some feedback on where people are at. I feel like, especially the last couple of weeks since the election, things have been super quiet. Tell me how you're doing. Kira at thrivewithkira.com. In 2025, if you're ready to change your life, change it with me. Let's do this. Let's fucking do this. I'm so excited. If you liked this, please subscribe. I don't always put things out weekly. Sometimes I put things out 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll have a week and a half to 2 weeks in between. So subscribe so you know exactly when things go live. Finally, if you really love it, please leave a review. Whether it's just some stars on Apple or Spotify, or really writing down what you are learning and loving about this podcast. I read every single one. They fucking make my day. You are the wind beneath my wings. And it helps get it out there. Because honestly, as much as I can say this, for as much feedback I get about this podcast, which is a lot, and most of it all very positive, except for the people who don't like my swearing. Even if you never share this with another person, by you writing an anonymous review, that lets other people know this might be something that they want to check out. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. No more surviving. Let's thrive.